Hello, gentlemen, and welcome to yet another episode of Gentlemen's Club Whiskey. I am your host, Mark Antimate, and in today's episode, it's a very special edition episode as there is much to celebrate. So, I don't even know where to start. Today's date is June 19th, so happy Juneteenth to the people that celebrate, because there's not many people of color within the whiskey industry. I'm one of them, as I would like to consider myself the first black author on the subject matter. And in Lynchburg, Tennessee, there is a distillery called Uncle Nearest, which is owned by a black woman. And I think for the past 2 years, it has been voted the best Tennessee whiskey, just the best Tennessee whiskey. And these are very high remarks and high acclaim that this has gotten, and it's paving the way for so many people to come into this industry. And to my good friend Donald Payne over at Whiskey and Watches, he is a big time collector, I would like to say, and I think he just put up his 1,000th post on Instagram, and he has easily over 20,000 followers. He could be pushing 25 now, who knows, but I would call him a very big shot guy within the industry. So we are out here and we are representing, and we're growing in numbers, and we're becoming bigger and bigger. And when I said that I believe I am the first black author, that's what this video is all about, really. So, on today, it couldn't have fallen on a better day for me to finish up those last 2 pages that I needed to do. I completed my 184-page whiskey book, which is going to be coming out very soon, and the title of that one is 50 Japanese Whiskies. And when I started writing this book, it was about 2.5 years ago, so it took a lot of time to get this done. You know, I'm not only a writer on the brown spirits. You know, I do have a day job, so this is something that I have to do inside of my spare time. So it has taken much time and a lot of research, and it's taken some trips as well. But I'm very happy to be done with it, and on today, no less. Who would have thought? So, I bought this book right here. I hope this shows up well on camera. Let me try to show it to this camera as well. So this book, this is just a blank little, a blank book, notebook. And I started writing by hand every time I would go out to the bar, and even here at home. I would put all of my tasting notes inside of here, about the whiskey name, the date that I had it. Let me open this up real quick. The date that I had it, the ABV, the alcohol by volume. I would write the distillery that it comes from. I would put my nose, palate, and finishing notes on here, along with other commentary. And I filled it up quite well. I pretty much went through the entirety of the book. And once I decided to upgrade from this one, then I started typing up my notes. There's a lot to see there. I started typing them up, printing them on paper, and I would go through with a red pen, making my markups to this, and then I would go back to the computer and correct them even more. And then I've even made it to a point where I've upgraded from doing paper prints. I got the iPad Pro, and let me open this up real quick. Let me put in my password. And then I started marking up my notes as PDFs just directly on the iPad itself. And what do you know? 184 pages later, 2.5 years later, I'm finally done. So this is the reason of this video, and it's very celebratory. And if I had a stogie right now, I would very much be lighting that up. But since I don't, what other way to celebrate than with a bottle of whiskey? This is the Hibiki blended whiskey, age 17 years. This is the best thing I have on hand to celebrate with. Nice cork lid on this one. Twisting it so that I don't break it off inside of there. It's a very temperamental thing. You got to handle these things gently. Let's get that cork off. It's been a while since I opened this, about over a year ago, I would say. It's coming. There it is. Wow. Got the liquid gold in hand. Got my Glencairn glass. Let's go ahead and pour a nice helping, a nice dram there. Let me see if I can get this to focus. Got a nice dram of that liquid gold. Wow, so much to talk about. So much to talk about. Here is a picture inside of my book that I've taken of the Hibiki age 30 years blended whiskey. And I have quite a bit of Suntory whiskeys inside of this one. This book is supposed to be like an introductory type of book to Japanese whiskeys. I held out, so to speak, a little bit, as there will be a sequel to this book that I've already started working on, which will be tentatively titled 50 More Japanese Whiskeys. And I plan on bringing out the big dogs inside of that book, so to speak. That's going to be where I unleash the very top of the line, top tier, very high age statement whiskeys, the very expensive ones. And inside of this book, the one that I'm getting ready to release within the next 2 months, this is like 50 very obtainable whiskeys, no matter where you are inside of the world. I mean, some of them might come in at being a little bit expensive at $300, maybe even all the way up to about $700, but they're still obtainable and they're still within reach, unlike the ones that are going to be inside of the next book. And so this is what I'm presenting inside of this book. Let's go ahead and have a sip of this. Good getting it to the nose on this one after all this time. You got those berries inside of there. Very fruity aroma. Very fruity taste on that one. Berries is going to be the word of the day, as it's featured heavily on the palate and in the finish. It's been so long since I've had this. But wow, the book is coming out soon. I think I pretty much said everything that I need to say about it. If there is something that I'm missing, the answer is going to be inside of the preface of my book, which is 3 pages, by the way. The book size, the page size is going to be about A5 size, international paper size. I don't know if my American brethren out there actually know how big A5 is, but it's a little bit bigger than a postcard, but a lot smaller than a letter size piece of paper. So that's A5. I got some good notes inside of here. What do I want to say about this book? Because I'm completely doing this video off the cuff. I'm trying to think about what I've left out. My book is very much influenced by the Michelin guides to fine dining restaurants and hotels, And this is more or less a luxury guide to luxury dining restaurants and hotels. And it comes inside of a trade paperback, very compact size, nice presentation. So it was this book that had influenced me, so to speak, in the design language of my book, because I wanted my book to be very much simple and have a sophisticated presentation, just as this one does. So not necessarily inspired by, but it was influenced by this book. I may have those two words mixed up. They're so interchangeable and I always mess it up, but I think influence is the word that I want to say, not inspired by. And so my book's presentation is very clean. And the book, even aside from the design language, which takes a little bit of a detour from this, it's not like a direct copy, so to speak. You know, it takes some artistic cues from this, but it's an original design. The whole book is my baby and my brainchild, so to speak, because what it is that I've done is that I've taken all the photos, I've written everything. There's going to be no editor chopping up my book and taking parts out or rearranging my words. This is 100% my vision. And I've even write about this and speak on it inside the preface. So let me go to that part real quick and read what I wrote. I wrote, I'm the sole visionary of my book, and I'm giving you the Steve Jobs experience of what I think a whiskey book should be. I'm focused on the consumer experience, showcasing the drinks that you are interested in buying. And even if you never knew before about a particular bottle, you may have never known you wanted it. However, after reading an entry on it in my book, it'll entice you to go out and get it. I'm showing you what you want even before you know. My book is about whiskey through and through and putting them front and center. I do humble myself though, and I hope you appreciate my efforts and what I'm trying to do. So just a little bit about me being the visionary of my book. So many hurdles to overcome with this. I mean, at one point in time, which was not too long ago, which was just a month ago, I was sent a letter inside the mail and I was threatened with a lawsuit for libel and slander, which is like slander in the written form, even though I did not slander this quote unquote distillery at all. It's more or less I'm just echoing the words that other people in mass were saying on the internet, and I provided links to what these other articles were saying about this whiskey and about this distillery, but they didn't like me echoing those words, so they hit me with this letter via the lawyer, and they asked me to pull all of the reviews that I did on their whiskey. So very short notice, within the last month, I had to pull 3 whiskeys from my book, and I had to input 3 new entries for just other whiskeys, and I had to replace those, and I had to relabel pages, not relabel pages, but I had to renumber pages, and it was very tedious, but it was something that needed to be done. That's not a battle that I wanted to face at this point in time, but I will approach that at some point in the future. Obviously, if I was inside the United States and I had the freedom of speech and freedom of press, then I could say what I wanted to say because it was the truth. But be it as it may, me being in Japan, the law is very tight here. Even if you are speaking the truth, you can still be hit with libel for ruining a company's reputation if there is no harm to the public. Or what am I trying to say? If there is no harm to the public. If there if me telling that said truth has no impact on helping the public or stray them away from something that is going to harm them, so to speak, then I just cannot. Yeah, it's difficult to put into words, but libel is a big thing here, and you just have to be careful about what you say. Even if it's the truth, you could still be hit with it, and they could send you to prison for 3 years. This is one of the punishments. Or you could pay a fine of, like, I don't know, it could be like 50,000 yen, or was it 500,000 yen, which is about 5,000 US dollars. But anyways, you don't want to face any of those repercussions. I will fight my battles in the future at some point in time, but we're just going to leave that alone for now. Running through the content pages of my book real quick. So it starts off with the core of the book, which is the 50 reviews. And after that, I decided that 50 reviews, which equals 100 pages, is not going to be enough. Let me mention why it's 50 reviews and 100 pages. So always on the left-hand side is going to be a picture of the whiskey that I'm talking about. And then on the right-hand page is going to be the entirety of the review. And that makes up 2 pages just for one whiskey. So 50 whiskeys, 100 pages. And I thought that the book was just not going to be meaty enough with just those 100 pages. So I decided to add some supplemental material on top of that. And the first thing that I added was some distillery visits, where I show a picture from a distillery, or maybe multiple pictures from a distillery, and then I give a review or some type of talk or commentary about the distilleries. And it looks like I have about, looks like I have about 9 distilleries within Japan and one from Taiwan reviewed inside of this book. Next up, I have my bar reviews. I've visited so many bars, grand bars, might I add, within Tokyo, within Osaka, Chiba Prefecture, and even in New York City. So I have those inside of here. And if I count them up real quick, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I have 11 bar reviews inside of here. And finally, on top of that, there were 4 major whiskey books about Japanese whiskey that came out prior to mine. First being published in 2016, and then subsequently in 2017 and 2018. And there wasn't one in 2019, and I am the next one up, the 5th one in 2020. So I've even reviewed the 4 prior books to mine within my book, and telling you which ones you should take a look at and which ones you maybe should stay away from. They're all good in their own rights, in their own aspects. But like I said, aside from the very first one that came out in 2016, all the subsequent ones, more or less, in some ways or another, they're a double dipping of the information that was given to you and provided within that first book. So it's just one thing to keep in mind mentally. But they're all nice to have, and if you're going to collect one of them or 2 of them, if you get 2, you might as well just go ahead and buy them all. And that includes mine as well. And I got my bibliography in the end after that, and I'm going to end it with an epilogue inside the book. Even though the book itself is 100% complete, I'm trying to gather some things to put on the back right now. I'm seeking out all the authors and the authoritarian figures on Japanese whiskey that I personally like myself, Not because the public at large says that these people are the best, but these are the people that I respect and the people that I like. So I'm reaching out to all of these people right now, trying to get blurbs from them about my book so that I can put it on the back cover of my book. And that's pretty much the final step that I need to do. And I'm going to be doing that over the next 12 days. And come July 1st, I'm going to probably send this book to the printers, and just whenever I get it back, hey, that's when it's available out there. This book, unlike 3 of the other books prior to mine, there's only one of them that has done this. My book is going to be in print format, and I'm going to have the digital ebook copy of it, as it looks beautiful on ebook inside of a PDF format. And you could carry it around with you on your iPad, and you can use it when you go to the bar and use it as a quick reference guide for things. It's a very nice presentation book. And, you know, there's no reason to even write this book if it's not going to be different from the ones that came before it. And let me tell you that it is different. It's utterly different, completely different from the ones that have come before it. So I'm glad to be wholly original with what it is that I've done with this. I mean, it sounds like I'm being cocky now, but I'm just speaking the truth. I'm very humbled that I could even do this and share this with you guys, but I'm just letting you know what it is. Anyways, I think I've been rambling long enough. We got a little bit of this whiskey left inside of the glass of the Hibiki 17. Let's go ahead and finish this off real quick. Very good. Age 17 years means that you should keep it in your mouth for about 17 seconds to experience that. Don't let it go to waste. Enjoy it, savor it. Hope that you guys drank with me on this one. Salute to you wherever you may be out in the world. Make sure that you drink responsibly. Make sure you go out there and pick up my book. When I tell you the release date, I'm going to need you guys to jump on this one. Almost closed out the video. Let me just say something really quickly. I really thought about what do you call these things when you're trying to gather money to put something together? I'm at a loss of words. Let me look this up on the internet real quick and get back to you guys. Okay, I researched what it is that I wanted to say. These crowdfunding websites like Kickstarter, Indiegogo, things like that. I thought a long time ago that I would put this book up on like Kickstarter and try to get the money ahead of time to send these things to press and get them all printed up and stuff, and then I would send it to you, you know, as they were made. But then I'm so glad I did not do that. I refrained from doing it because initially I had wanted to put this book out in the holiday season of 2018. So that was Christmas of 2018. And here we are in the summer of 2020. So it's already a year and a half past when I initially really wanted to put this book out. If I had kept you guys waiting that long to receive this book, there would be so much hate towards me right now, and so many people would have, I think the lot of everybody that would have donated to me would have already demanded they wanted their money back. So I'm so glad that I refrained from doing that, and it's just, the book was finished when it was finished. So there's that. And I mean, I guess I could go ahead and put it up on Kickstarter or Indiegogo now, because I know with certainty, definitively 100%, that this book is going to be out inside of your hands within the next 2 months. be it whether it's physical, digital even sooner than that. But yes, it will be in your hands soon. And I can't wait for the day that you guys get a hold of this. So anyways, let me close out again. Let me restart that. Gentlemen, salute to you wherever you may be out in the world. Make sure that you drink responsibly. And as always, gentlemen, you know what to do. Keep it classy.